happened during that hour, that week, that month, will forever taint the memories of so many members of the refugee community in Malawi.
This is not an action movie. This is the real life of refugees and asylum seekers in Malawi during a controversial relocation exercise. Located 45 kilometers from Malawi's capital, Lilongwe, Dzaleka was a notorious prison during the country's one-party rule that spanned 3 decades. Dzaleka was transformed into a refugee camp in response to a slow but growing influx of refugees from Africa's Great Lakes region in 1994. Primary countries of origin represented in the camp include the Democratic Republic of Congo, Rwanda, Burundi, Ethiopia, and Somalia. These refugees and asylum seekers escaped hell from their countries and sought for refuge in Malawi.
Kia ile habari aseme mama yenu kule banamuua, tukasema komsa twende tukaangalie ni nini yenye ilitokea kule. Wakati tulifika kuangalia, kuuliza kufanya ankete, tukakuya kugundua kama ni batu benye balikuwa banatufuatilia, banasema kama shie hatuna bandugu yabo, shie tuko Batusi, hatustahili kuishi mubeni.
Life at Dzaleka is not easy.
Naishi ile maisha ile kwa ya msaada kupitia ile kidogo yenye bego natupokeza, tunaona gisi ya kuishi.
The story of refugees in Malawi is a mixed bag, so to say. There are so many success stories, but there are also some stories of pain, some stories of disappointment and disillusionment. So yeah, it's a mixed bag. Life in Malawi as a refugee is not very easy, especially when you consider the 9 reservations. Those were very strategic, and they strip away the essence of what it means to have a dream, to hope, you know, to be productive, to contribute to the society around you. Well, there are reservations around, for example, the freedom of movement. That is highly restricted. I guess that is why we are able to implement as a nation the encampment policy. There are reservations around ownership of property, for example. The refugees are not allowed to own movable or immovable property. By extension, all refugee learners do not have access to public university education. And so, for example, if somebody is able to qualify for university education in Malawi, they will not be able to register as a refugee. All of a sudden, their status changes. They are now considered a foreign student, and so will be expected to pay higher fees.
One wonders, what hope do these people have left? In search of survival, many refugees have been leaving Dzaleka to integrate themselves into local towns and cities around the country in order to do business and make an earnest living. This, however, has attracted a heavy-handed response from the Malawi government, and in some cases, aggression from indigenous business people who feel outclassed by the hard-working foreigners.
Right now we have a figure of around 3,000 that are in Malawi that have come in without any documentation. They have no BRPs, they have no TEPs that will warrant them to do business in Malawi. So those people are the ones we are looking for, and those are the ones we are talking about, that they are not refugees as such, but those are business or I would tell you economic refugees.
Not everyone agrees with Malawi government's approach on the relocation exercise.
It's lacking human rights approach, simply because the act that we are using now is old version, is archaic. It's a 1989 act. It was enacted during the time that we had no new constitution. Our constitution came in 1994, and you know our constitution is progressive. We have the Bill of Rights, so which means that I think the Refugees Act that we are having, it has got no component of human rights. So that's the major problem that we are having as a country.
Access to property or to education should be within the framework of the government policy. But also, from the human rights point of view, these people have got a dignity. Though they're refugees, but they're human beings, they've got a dignity. So they need to access whatever they can access in this country, provided it is within the law of this country.
Being a refugee in Malawi is no longer what it was before. The so-called warm heart of Africa has become another prison for refugees and asylum seekers. A camp built in 1994 to accommodate 10,000 people now houses 53,000 refugees and asylum seekers.
Mafamilia 5 ngati nyumba yanga kumene lili choncho kodikone anthu opyola sati kupika ali yesa sangapeke zake sizingatheke kupika nsima mwamapika alendo atatu moyambirira awa aji tumambirira kuwana mwachiwiri anthu aji chinaso mazi umuntu amukoza kumaliza sabata wese osasapa.
Beyond overcrowding, there is despair. The lack of adequate funding means that critical needs such as education, healthcare, even food are left unmet. Not only are opportunities few, but they are also locked away by laws that confine rather than uplift. For many young people in Dzaleka, this camp is the only world that they have ever known. For 30 long years, they've been waiting for recognition, for acceptance, for the basic human right to move freely and live with dignity. But instead, they remain prisoners of circumstance, relying on the shrinking aid to simply survive. When all is said and done, who will stand with them? Who will remember that refugees are not faceless numbers, but human beings, people who deserve the same hope, the same chance, the same life as everybody else?